Hi, today we're going to make a Celtic braided bracelet. It looks so complicated, but once you get the first step mastered, you're fine. Stay with me and you'll see how much fun this is and what a skill you will develop. Let's begin. We cut 1.5 meters or 5 feet of copper wire 1 millimeter thick, divide it in half and then take those two halves together and bend in the middle to make a loop. Then put them into your vise and wrap with the silver aluminium wire to begin. Just a few turns will do. This is the part now that I really struggled with, so done it very slowly for you to see over and over again how to do this. One set of wires is forward, the other set is back. The forward set is shaped into a little oval and wrapped with the aluminium wire. Once it's wrapped, you pull those two wires backwards and under the waiting wires. The waiting wires now come forward, they form an oval, and you wrap that little gap, the waist, with the aluminium wire, keeping your work neat and straight. This is a bracelet, so the work has to continue and be straight. Compress that aluminium wrap if you need to. Squeeze it, press it down. So again, the forward wires that you've just wrapped go backwards and under the waiting wires. And then the waiting wires come forward and form the oval, make a nice little waist, and wrap with aluminium. So as you go along, they're always the wires you are working with to make an oval, and they're the waiting wires. And always when you pull the working wires backwards, they go underneath. They don't go on top of the waiting wires. Once again, the uppers move backwards, the working wires backwards, and the waiting two come forward to form the small oval and wrap a waist. And this is how you continue. I must say, when I first learned how to do this, I was so proud of myself because the effect is amazing. It looks complicated, and yet once you master this little step, it's so easy. So just keep trying. If your first attempt is not too neat, then try again. I found it easier in the beginning to use the vise to hold all the wires in place, but once it started to grow in length, then I found it was easier to take it out of the vise and just hold it. I'm using a coated copper wire here, and I don't always like it, but it does show a nice contrast in color for you to see the differences. I can imagine it will look beautiful in different metals. Perhaps a sterling silver wire would be absolutely gorgeous. Or even brass wire. I must try that. Although brass wire is such a beast to work with, it looks gorgeous when you've finished. And a bit of annealing helps a lot. My favorite so far is the uncoated copper wire. I like that look very much. And here I have a bit of inspiration for you. This is how your bracelet is going to look, and I hope it inspires you to carry on with this really rewarding um, technique. It has such a lovely, complicated, lacy look to it. That's what I like about this braid. Here I've given you a fast forward just so that you can see the process as the bracelet builds. So it's speeded up for you, and you can see how this lovely technique just grows. Now I'm going to let you watch in peace, not chatter away while you're trying to learn how to do this, and we'll see how we go. Here I'm measuring for size to see how long I must make this. I take a little piece of string or piece of paper, or you might have a much fancier way of measuring, or a tape measure, and see how long this bracelet needs to be. I do believe in using simple things at hand to help us with our jewelry. We don't need too many fancy gimmicky things. How exciting! I've made it to the right length, and now we're going to just secure all those little wraps. Squeeze, go down the line, squeeze the next one, and it just helps to lock in all the wraps. And braiding. If there are any little loops along the way that look a bit out of shape, you can bend them gently back into line so they all look the same. If any of the tails are too long at the stage, you can trim them back a bit. And I take the two working wires at the end and bend them into a simple loop. This is going to be so easy to finish off this bracelet. The side wires I've trimmed, and then I'm going to curl them under and then tap them on the mandrel to make a nice little flat end to that curl, and then to curl them right in against the body of the bracelet. So here we are, taking those two ends and bend them around into a loop. And remember, you have another loop on the other end where you started out. Always useful to have lots of loops. Here we're curling those side wires into a curl. Tap on the mandrel to make them nice and flat, which always adds a bit of shine and texture, and it doesn't all look the same. I curl them in against the body of the work, and then we're going to take a little piece of off-cut wire and make the hook. It's a very simple little shepherd's hook. I'm sure you can do that. Tap the entire length on your anvil with a nylon mallet. You're just locking in the braid, locking in the wraps, and making sure it all holds together as one unit. My little mallet is shedding bits and pieces all the time. I think I need a new end. Right, you've made your hook, you've fitted it to one of the loops, and now you're going to tap your bracelet around the bracelet mandrel. You can also fit the hook after this stage. I have a little surprise at the end. I made a ring as well. You would use 60 centimeters of wire and obviously a much tighter braid, and then join neatly at the back. Makes a lovely ring, doesn't it? Let me know how yours turns out, and thanks for watching. Bye.